Hi everybody, Stephanie Haney here with WKYC. We're here at the Forbes Under 30 Summit at the Cleveland Public Auditorium with superstar Lexi Underwood. Hi Lexi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here in Cleveland. Now you may know Lexi from Little Fires Everywhere or Cruel Summer. She's here. She just spoke on a panel about shaking up the entertainment industry and kind of just like entrepreneurship and how to break into what you want to do as a young person. So tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, so I started acting when I was 9 years old professionally, but it wasn't until I was about 15 years old where it hit me that I didn't just want to be an actress. I decided to open up my own production company at the age of 15 because I felt as though there was a lack of representation, a lack of the stories that I felt as though my generation of people needed to see. It's not that they weren't necessarily being made, but it's the fact that they weren't necessarily being greenlit. And so I, from such a young age, have always kind of wanted to have a seat at the table when it comes to the way in which we tell stories, but also the way in which we tell our stories, people of color stories. And so I've been very fortunate through my production company. I feel like something about it, for me, I feel like what we do as artists, it's a contact sport. So, whatever show or project you make or that you're a part of, you want somebody to walk away feeling something. You want them to feel change or have a different perspective of, whatever that they just watched or a different topic. And I think that, through my business, I've been able to do that. And it's changed the way in which I view just myself and my abilities. But I've been really fortunate to be able to be in those spaces. And I'm excited for the future of my production company because I never thought that I would be in this space right now, but now that I'm here, it's really exciting.
To be able to do that at such a young age is just it's truly phenomenal. So I'm sure there were all kinds of challenges when you got started. Was there anything particular that kind of surprised you when you were getting going?
Yeah, for me, I didn't necessarily understand budgeting and what greenlets a project versus what doesn't. And I think that when I was younger, I had so many different ideas, and I was just kind of tossing them out to my agents and the teams around me. But I wasn't thinking about, all right, well, if you want to do something that's set in the 60s, you have to have this kind of budget. Or, if you want to make this kind of story, you have to have these kind of producers or these kind of people that are backing you. So when you do get there, there are many obstacles and challenges that you have to face. But I think that that's a part of the business. I think that that's a part of just life in general. But it's really just more about, are you going to stick with it when you hear those no's? Are you going to let that make you feel defeated? You're going to let that make you feel you should stop what you're doing, or is that going to give you the motivation to keep going? And being young, there are lots of times where I was like, am I doing the right thing? Should I just quit? But being able to have that mindset and that spirit of motivation, but regardless of what anybody has to say, it kept me going.
You hear a lot of no's, I'm sure, before you hear those.
Yeah, you hear way more no's than you hear yes.
And I think that's a great message for people who are out there who are thinking about maybe doing something is, that resilience is so important. Yeah. And I want to check in with you too. You have done such a great job sort of staking your claim, making yourself known out there in crowded fields. The entertainment industry is a crowded field, the production field is a crowded field. Do you have any tips for people who are maybe feeling like they're not able to stand out in the way that they would like to in a world where there's so many options of things to pay attention to?
Yeah, I think that just have patience and trust in yourself. There were lots of times, where I kind of doubted myself and I didn't necessarily feel as though people were seeing me, or I definitely felt like I was the smallest in the room, being in certain spaces. But I think that you really have to have trust in yourself, and if you have a belief and you're passionate about something, you just don't let that kind of derail you. But it is challenging, and there are a lot of people that are waiting for those yeses, especially in the field that I'm in. So many actors, so many producers, so many artists. But I 100% believe that everyone's time comes. So whether it's 10 years from now, you just have to trust that your journey versus somebody else's is completely different. I feel like comparison is the biggest thief of joy, and it's really easy to get in that space when you're trying to start a career, you're trying to start a business, but you just kind of have to remain faithful that it'll happen for you eventually. And when it does, it'll be all in divine timing. It'll be it'll all make sense when it does happen.
That's so true. And we have so much access to being able to see what other people are doing to compare ourselves. So, Lexi, thank you so much for your candor and for being so authentic and sharing your journey with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
Thanks, everybody.